Hi guys, and welcome back to the Cassie project. So this week we're going to be filling in some more of my 365 days of art. I also wanted to have a little bit of a comparison to all my other art prompt books. So first, let's jump straight into the book. We're going to prompt 198, and this is use the page opposite to create your own repeating pattern.
What did you just say?
Yes, I said pattern. Using simple drawings of objects or shapes. Now, this is where I wanted to start with my comparison to these books. As you can see, this is very, very instructive. Basically, I'm autistic and sometimes I get such intense hyperfocus that I work myself into the ground. And then that means I go into this shutdown where I don't want to do anything. I procrastinate and I struggle with just doing normal functioning things. And you know, I've got to carry on making content. So I was just sat at my desk so many times last week thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do a picture in my Create This Book 3? I couldn't get the motivation. I still wanted to do art. Art makes me feel so much better. It calms me. It gets me back to my normal self. It's what I love to do. I was still struggling to get art onto paper. I was going through this really horrible art block. So I grabbed my 365 days of art. And the reason I grabbed this book over my Create This Book 3 is because it gives me full instructions of what to do. I didn't have to think outside the box. I didn't need to use my imagination. It's there right in front of me. So this first prompt especially, it literally says draw a simple object and then repeatedly draw the object, keep an even space between the drawings. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. In fact, handmade unique effort that will give your pattern charm. So they're reminding us that it doesn't need to be perfect either, which again calmed me so much. And then step 3, added more elements. So I didn't have to use my imagination. I didn't need to think outside the box. And this is what got me thinking about comparing these different books. So my 365 days of art, I would put on this side of the scale. So this is where you haven't got to use your imagination. The steps are right there for you and you can just follow them nice and simply. Whether you've got art block or not, this is fantastic. Now on the other end of the scale, we've got Wreck This Journal. So this gives you lots of instructions. This does not. Well, I say that. It gives you instructions, but it gives you instructions on how to wreck the journal, which isn't what I want to do. As a lot of other art YouTubers do, they put their creative spin on this. So if you want to get really creative and really use your imagination, this book is fantastic. It's so much fun for that. But when I'm going through art block, this is not the book that I pull out. For example, one of my favourite pages that I did in this book, it said to tear this page out. And it said to put in your pocket and put it through the wash. So obviously there is no art involved in that. You're screwing up a page and you're putting it in the wash. So my artistic spin that I did on it, I put it through the wash, but then I stuck it back into the book and then I did an illustration of a washing machine and I loved it. It was so much fun. And this is where I wanted to really compare these different books, because that's not the sort of thing that I would do in 365 days of art. But for this book, oh, you got to really think outside the box. So the next prompt we're going to be doing is colour in the pebbles. Try to experiment with shading and texture. So again, it's instructing me exactly what to do on the page. And again, I could just enjoy making some art without having to think too much. So I got out my Artex pens and I just started colouring in these pebbles and just having a play with lighter tones and darker tones. So why do I put draw your journal next? It's quite instructive really, but you can really put your own twist on it. The first prompt in the book is draw your own secret language. So it's telling you exactly what you need to do. it is saying, you know, make your own little symbols, put them in the box and make your own language like you did as a kid. I decided to do this portrait on the next page. So this was fairly instructive, but I got to make it a little bit more different and a bit unusual. Now this one was draw your birth month. My birth month is Ruby. I was playing a lot of Minecraft at the time and it was just getting me thinking of all the different gem blocks that you can get. Not that you can get a ruby block, but you should be able to get a ruby block because that would be amazing. I decided to put a little twist on it and I decided to create this whole Minecraft scene, and I put a ruby block in the Minecraft scene. Now if you wanted to, you could literally just draw the stone that is in your birth month, nice and simpler. You can take it as, you know, plain instructions like the 365 days of art, or you can be a bit more imaginative with it and you can go for more of a wreck this journal sort of thing and think outside the box and put a completely different spin on it. So I would probably say next to 365 days of art, you've got draw your journal. And then next to draw your journal, I'd probably put the create this book series. So we'd go from create this book 1, create this book 2, create this book 3, and then we put wreck this journal. So the next prompt is number 200. So we're way past the middle now. Experiment with different materials to discover what you enjoy using. Today, try watercolour paints to create different marks. You could try varying the brush size, angle of the brush, and how much water you use. So again, it's really instructive. It's giving us a tip. Watercolours are great for blending colours. Experiment with this by applying 2 colours next to each other on the page and allow the colours to run into each other. Again, you're just creating marks on the page and trying to be really loose. You're trying different techniques, you're trying different art supplies in this book, and it's such a good way to just get practicing and not worrying about the final result, because I mean this page it's not that pretty, but it was really fun to do. Now moving up the line, now this isn't my favourite to my least favourite or vice versa. This is just to show you, if you've got a really vivid imagination and you want to play around and be really creative, then I'd go for the wreck this journal. But if you struggle getting things on a page and you struggle with thinking outside the box and just want to follow some clear instructions, then I'd go for the 365 days of art. And if you're kind of somewhere in the middle, then go for draw your journal or the create this book series. The next prompt is choose 6 or 7 pencils in a range of colours. Look around you and draw the objects that you see as a line drawing. Use a different colour for each object. Explore layering your drawings over each other and you'll create a colourful, energetic interpretation of what you see all around you. And you don't have to worry about accuracy. It's constantly reminding you in this book that you don't need to worry about it being perfect. This really is such a great way of just getting pen onto paper and practicing, and I think it's so important. I can't tell you how much my art actually improved when I was doing this on a daily basis. I really want to get back to it. At the minute I keep doing chunks at a time, but I really want to get back into doing that drawing every day, because without worrying about the result, because I think that that is what really improves your art. But let's talk about the Create This Book series. So some people have asked, what's the difference between Create This Book 1, Create This Book 2, Create This Book 3? And I see a little bit of difference, not a huge amount of difference. Of course, you've got different prompts, which is really handy because I wouldn't want the same prompts over and over again. But I find that Create This Book 1 is a little bit more instructive. Same with number 2. I don't see a massive difference between those. To be honest, I pick these both up and I need to be in a fairly creative mood, but I don't have to think too outside the box like wreck this journal. Whereas the Create This Book 3, the newer one, I find I'm having to really think about it a lot more. For example, this one is create a contest. Create a contest you know you would win. Now I've looked at this page a few times and I've gone, I have no idea what to do with this page. I'm going to have to really think outside the box to create something desirable on this 2-page spread. Whereas when you turn the page, this one is create a spinner. So I literally followed the instructions and I created a spinner. But I'm finding a lot more of the prompts in Create This Book 3 are a lot more like this, where they're a little bit more vague and I'm going to have to really think about what I'm going to put in there. Whereas this one was create a quilt, and I had to think outside the box, you know. I did create a quilt, but there was all the boxes there, so you could just literally put patterns in there. So it's a really fun one. I like that it's a little bit different to the first two. I like that you've got to really use your imagination for it. So the next prompt is explore colours that look good together. Fill in the boxes with colours that you think work well as a set. So again, I got to just enjoy following the instructions and having a little play around with colour. Obviously, I'm using my imagination a bit to try and make colours work together. But again, it's a really good way of practicing your colour theory and your skills when it comes to art. I decided to use a few different art supplies for this one because I was feeling a little bit more excited at this point, and I felt like that art block was lifting and I was starting to enjoy making art again. So with Create This Book, I find that the instructions are a little bit more simple. So this one is create patterns, fill this page with patterns. Fairly simple, I just filled the page with patterns. Next, create a collage. Collect paper scraps or pictures and glue them all over the 2 pages. So that's what I did. I created a collage. Create weather-based decor. Fill this page based on the current weather condition. So it's really, really simple, but you get to really put that beautiful creative twist on it where you make that 2-page spread look really nice. But you could use this just the same way as you use the 365 days of art. You could literally fill in the instruction and not worry about that final result and let it be a really good way of practicing your art. Finally, I am going to talk about this book. I've done 1 episode on this book and it's called This Is Not a Book, and it's by Keri Smith, who also wrote Wreck This Journal. I find this really quite difficult. I'd quite like to give it another go, but I just couldn't pick this book up. It's just been sat on my shelf. I think you need to have a really, really vivid imagination for this book. I've managed to do a lot of this book and I don't know why I've struggled to do this one. I'm wondering if it's because one of the pages was telling me to decorate the front cover and it went really badly wrong. So now I've just done a photocopy of a front cover and I've stuck that in. And I'm wondering if that has just gave me this hate for this book. I don't know, I'm not sure, but let's have a little flip through at some of the things. So one of the pages that I did do, pull a book off your shelf, open it to a random page and write the first sentence. So I did that with a Harry Potter book and give it this lovely Harry Potter theme, which I really enjoyed. This one is a television. You get to do all your programming, write your own show, make a 3-dimensional diorama of your show out of cardboard. So that's what I did. I created this awesome pop-out television in this book and I really, really enjoyed it. But it was a lot of hard work. Fill out this form and follow the instructions on the bottom of the form. So it's a little bit odd, a little bit strange. This is a secret identity. So you've got to fill in your secret identity profile and then you've got this little cutout section. The more I'm looking at this book, it's more making me want to do it. This is a kit for attending boring events. Draw a funny face. Find these words and circle them. It's brilliant. So you could literally take this to a boring event and you get to do a little word search. You get to draw a little funny face and write a list of 10 things you can see right now. That's really, really fun. I think I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to start doing a series on This Is Not a Book because It's brilliant. So there you go. There are my prompts for this week for my 365 days of art, and I really do hope you found it fun finding out about the different art books and why I've got so many, and I hope that it's helped you to make a decision on what art books that you would like to have and which ones are right for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it very informative. Do carry on watching some more videos over here. Here is a binge-worthy video of me if you'd like to carry on watching more. And here is a video of someone that I recommend and think you should definitely check out. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye.